All right.
Are we ready?
Rolling?
We rolling?
Yeah, we're ready.
All
right.
They were like, we've been rolling. So let's recap our big grand opening event for the Kelly Samson team Christmas. It was a ton of fun.
No, it was a lot of fun. A lot of people, 350 people came through, saw the spectacular, the Christmas spectacular that you and Tree put on. Unbelievable. They loved it. We loved it. So you did a great job. I will say that I've never seen anything like that. I mean, what you guys did was phenomenal. Now, we had our client party, and then we had the stroll in Vienna, right? So in Vienna, there's a Christmas stroll, and you guys had people out the door, a line all night long. It was amazing.
That was pretty cool because it's fun for the kids to be able to come in, do a scavenger hunt. I mean, in all honesty, I don't think there's a lot of things like it. I mean, that's like everyone's like, "Oh, the ceiling surgery." I'm like, it's literally why I can't move my neck from putting it all together. But yeah, it was a lot.
Realtors their job is to make their community better, and this makes the community better. That's why we'll coach football, because we help the kids and the families and make a richer experience in our community. You did that by putting on a Christmas spectacular for Vienna. And now the mayor came by, opened it up. It said Christmas in Vienna is officially open. I would say mission accomplished.
One of the things where I think where it started, when it comes to football, you guys had your whole VYI thing going, and it's, real estate and football. And then I was sitting there saying, all right, well, what do I have? Like real estate and then it I like Christmas. I can decorate. All right, boom. Let's try it out and see what happens. And so really happy to be able to do that for the community.
I didn't go. My apologies for not going. We had something planned that night. But I got accused, listen to this, I got accused of being friends with the Grinch.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I shared it on the story, and little EJ Sablavero, he goes, Mr. Ferris, are you friends with the Grinch? He goes, he was at your Christmas party. I'm like, well, he was uninvited. He showed up. I still gifts. But yeah, he had a great time. He had with a Christmas smile. So
yeah,
little EJ, he was afraid that I was friends with him.
Oh my God, that's so funny. See?
Tell him that London got a hold of the Grinch, and I wandered out the door and saw him talking to the Grinch. He's going, well, what do you want for Christmas? All you got to do is ask Santa for Christmas. And he's talking to the Grinch like he's his buddy. He's trying to convert him into being a nice guy. And the Grinch goes, well, I like sardines. He goes, oh, I do too. I don't know what they are, but what sardines are.
He's just like his dad. He likes to be friends with everyone.
He wanted.
Come here.
So he sat the Grinch down, and it was the cutest damn story you've ever seen. Him talking to the Grinch, telling me, just go to Santa and tell him what you want. Mm-hmm. He goes, what do you want, a gun? I was like, no guns for the Grinch.
No. And it's funny. It's the cutest video. But in the video, I was laughing because we couldn't get into Colby's car because his jacket was in there. So he had to borrow his cousin Sutton's jacket. So he has this white fur jacket. His hair is long. And he's talking to the Grinch. His name's London. I'm like, this is not a good look. I love this video. But
we didn't have time to call it a new jacket.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a good event. And you can come on Tuesday, have a great event after that on the 17th, and then just private parties and a few pop-ups.
Yeah.
So we'll get you and see if you can get to meet the Grinch for your buddy.
Yeah. Well, I do have the Grinch on speed dial now, so, you just let me know. We'll get him there.
All right.
Anyhow.
So let's talk about the markets. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's good.
Talk about the markets. Okay. People say, was it a good market or a bad market? That's the wrong question. It's never a good market. It's never a bad market. It's either a buyer's market or a seller's market, one or the other. Somebody's having a good time and somebody's not having a good time. So for the last 4 years, sellers had a great time. Very little inventory. Buyers had to pay their price. They didn't care about interest rates. It was a seller's market for 4 years. It is now a buyer's market. So the market is controlled of the buyers. They have plenty of inventory to pick from. Rates are coming down, and we'll talk about that in a second. rates are coming down, plenty of inventory. So the buyer's in control and can actually buy a home contingent on them selling their home and actually move up in that way. So they haven't been able to do that for 4 years. So I think the question is, not good market, bad market, but buyer's market, seller's market. And right now we're in a buyer's market. So for the sellers, we've come up with 12 commandments, not suggestions and not rules, not protocols, but commandments. These are things you cannot break, right?
12 days of Christmas.
12 days of Christmas, we have 12 commandments, okay?
12 commandments.
So let's start with the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. This is no place for amateurs. Commandment number 1, right? You have to have a professional realtor with a track record. Somebody that knows what they're doing, right? So professional realtors are not Uncle Jim or Aunt Sally or friends or family or somebody's out doing real estate.
Or Zillow.
Don't call Zillow for a realtor. They're buying those leads. The heads of teams buy the lead, give it to one of their guys that work for them, and that's what you get, okay? That's not the way to select a realtor. You know who the realtors are in your area. You see them. You see solds and listings and all that from them. You see their sold signs is what you're looking for. And those are the people you really want to interview. They got to have a good track record. But I'll tell you, if you violate anyone, I was telling Morgan that I wanted to stack the commandments by what's most important. And she said, they're all important, right? So it's like, okay, then stack them by what comes first, second, third, fourth. Stack them by the order, So the first commandment, have a professional realtor. If you violate that,
then the rest is history because they're not going to know how to do any of the other commandments.
They don't have
the most important, actually, you put number 1.
Yeah.
Selecting the right realtor.
Select the right realtor. So with that, you get all the rest of the commandments or the protocols that team would have. So first, I'm going to start with Kelly with to prepare the home for buyers. So commandment number 2 is you have to prepare a home for today's buyers. And you started that with me a long time ago where I would go to a house. I'm like, yeah, it looks fine to me. And you're like, no. And you start really getting into, we've got to get this thing fixed up the way it should be.
Well, yeah, because the pictures sell the house. We have to get them from their office to the house.
Right.
And when you're scrolling through at 15 different houses,
right.
Oh, that's not going to cut it. That's not good. That's outdated. I don't want to go there. Because some people are driving 30 minutes, an hour to get to the house. So you need to grab them from the internet.
Yeah.
And do that through pictures. And yellow does not photograph well.
No. We've heard the stories about...
And the same thing with light fixtures. And, they look and say, oh, that's gold. I don't want to have to change it or I'm not going to go there. Like, they don't know how great the neighborhood is. They don't know how great the house is, the lot, until they get there. So we have to get them from the office to the house.
Now, nobody wants to do number 2. Nobody wants to have to prepare today's buyer. The seller doesn't want to do it. The agent doesn't want to do it. But it has to be done. You cannot break that commandment. So you don't want to do it, but you have to do it, right?
100%.
And this is where your guys' energy kicks in because sometimes I look at you and go, I don't want to paint. I don't want to do all this. And yet you guys stand your ground and say, this has to be done. It's a commandment.
Well, I had a conversation with a client a couple weeks ago, and first thing we do is we start at the front door and we're like, hey, what do we do with this house? This is the first impression. And her dining room, it's gorgeous, nice, but it's a lavender purple, right?
Yeah.
I said, look. And I'm like, hey, we need to paint. First thing, you need to paint this room, right? Because it's the first thing people see. She's like, we'll think about it, right? I don't know about that. I don't know if we want to do that. And I said, listen, no offense, but in other generations, the older generation, they can buy a house and, roll their sleeves up and say, honey, we're going to paint this.
Yep.
Well, guess what? Our generation or the younger generation, they don't do crap.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pay the extra money for a home that's turnkey, but they don't want to come in and have to paint stuff or hire a contractor. They don't have to deal with the stress. So I explained that to her. And she kind of understood. I'm like, look, we're not doing this for you. And plus, you're selling the home. We're doing this for the person that walks that.
Outside, you're trying to make
People that walk in that door they don't want to have to deal with that.
And they don't want to see what it was before. They want to picture themselves living in that home with clean paint. And even if it's a blank slate, even if they're coming in knowing that they're going to paint that dining room a nice blue, rich color, that they don't want to come into your paint that was purple or that, like, they don't want to see how it was lived in.
And again, because it's a commandment, preparing the home is not an option. I will tell you this. 40% of the homes today are withdrawing unsold. So they ask us to come in. What went wrong? I can tell you that in going over what happened when they tried to sell it before, they broke 5 commandments. You can't break one. You cannot break one. So when I look at this, they go, I really don't want to think about it. You are breaking a commandment, and I will tell you, you will live to regret it.
It's one of the most important ones. I mean, you're not going to go to a job interview and not take a shower and like make yourself presentable.
And here's the deal. Let me use a Here's a leadership, because we're leader of the team when we go to list a house. Let me give you a thing from Bear Bryant. He said, if something goes right, you did it. If something goes wrong, I did it. If something goes kind of good, we both did it, right? So don't forget that. So I go in and I see a seller that we said, you really should do this, you should do that, and they don't do it. Okay, the house doesn't sell. It's a nightmare, right? Whose fault is that? I told them to do it. It's our fault. It's my fault. Because when they said, we'd really rather not, I wasn't forceful enough to say, you're breaking a commandment. And if you do, you're going to live to regret it. So it's our job. And I think you guys do the best job of all. You're very forceful. You're more forceful than I am. And I will try and be more forceful. But we always see that when somebody doesn't do what we say to do, they live to regret it. So you just have to be more forceful to say, it's not an option. To prepare the house for today's buyer is not an option. Mm-hmm. And $300 or $400 worth of paint to totally change the look is not even a question.
I mean, when people don't prepare it, if we're working with buyers and we're going in and finding homes that might be priced as if it were already in customary condition or updated condition, and it still has a lot of work to do and it's turning off a lot of buyers, that's where we're coming in to show them what we can do easily. Okay, this is just cosmetic work. The functionality is great. We can put paint, hardware, it's light fixtures, nothing huge needs to be done this home, because we see befores and afters all the time and how much more people will bid on it just from paint, hardware, lighting, when it doesn't have to do with big capital improvements.
Let's go back to rule number 2 ties into rule number 1. If you have a professional realtor, they're going to make you do rule number 2.
Yeah.
Okay? Sure. And just like
You're going to know
couple
what to tell you to do and what not to do. There's a lot of people that will tell you to do things where it's like, what? That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to do that.
You're not going to get any
value of your
on
home.
that.
We're not telling you to renovate kitchens. We're not telling you to tear down walls and open the space. No, we're telling you to do minor adjustments that are going to appease the eyes as people walk through.
Exactly. And it's important because we don't do huge renovations to a kitchen, but we're smart enough to know that if we walk in and we're like, well, the cabinets are in good shape, you just have dark countertops. If we pop the counters off, put some quartz in here and have that tie in to this, then it completely. That's not the whole thing. Exactly.
Upgrade.
Gives it a little.
Or like if you have a black refrigerator with everything else is stainless steel, let's buy a new refrigerator to match the appliances.
There, you guys just fell into to rule number 3. Eliminate the deal killers. Mm-hmm. What's the deal killer in that house? We went in and the deal killer was an ugly black Uba Tuba countertop. And the cabinets are okay, but the Uba Tuba had to go. So, yes, we don't do kitchens, but that's a deal.
It looks great.
Master bedroom bathrooms could be a deal killer. Do we want to do a master bedroom bathroom? No. Are we going to renovate it? No. But if it's a deal killer, we can somehow either get new cabinets in, countertop, frameless shower door.
That's huge.
Frameless shower door is huge. Nice mirror, nice lighting, a countertop, and transform the whole bathroom. Because if somebody walked into that house, That's a deal killer. So eliminating deal killers.
And sometimes it is a full renovation, like we did on one of the homes last year. I mean, it needed it. There was no way to put lipstick on this bathroom, and we were going to be asking for a big number. So in order, the bathroom was as is, condition almost. The rest of the home, how big was it?
How old was it?
It was 80s. So I
You
think
talking about a
88.
1980s bathroom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to sell in 20.
And the rest of the house had been
Right.
pretty renovated. So it's like you have a kitchen that's been renovated. The master bathroom, if we renovate this to have it go with the rest of the home, then you're going to get a bigger number. But that's why sometimes if it's almost that customary and we can do just a little updates to do it. But if it's an as is, then you've got to just go for the renovation and you'll get that money back.
And there are other things. We went to a house when we talk about deal killers. We got a house in the backyard.
Yeah.
We got this monster house in the backyard. Well, we've already sold one and a house wasn't as bad, but pretty bad.
Was it a pipe stem?
It wasn't a pipe stem. It was just, it backed up to another cul-de-sac. And I mean, we saw the house. So I will tell you that it cost the seller $100,000 in value by not doing something for that house. I mean, it would have been easy to throw up a couple of green giants or something. So the next time, I think we walked into a house that we're preparing now.
Preparing it, yeah.
Big house in the backyard. Big one.
Monster. So, I mean, it's the first thing you see when you walk through the door and you look back the window.
Sorry. Oh, my God.
So this was an interesting situation because it was how to work with your neighbors in order for something to be mutually beneficial. So they couldn't really have these green giants on their property because it was going to take up too much space. And so
We didn't have the room for it.
we didn't have the room.
So we went to the neighbor.
But so they are splitting the cost of putting up privacy trees. We had, working with Merrifield Garden to, accomplish the privacy wall. And they're going to put them in their yard. And
Split the cost.
it's mutually beneficial for both of them to sell the house. They'll be able to have the trees up. And then, because that neighbor doesn't want to look at the yard.
She don't want to look at us either.
Yeah.
And then we went out of the listing and stood in the front yard and looked at that house. They had a line of green giants, and this house had a line of green giants. The whole damn neighborhood had lines of green giants protecting them from their neighbors. It's like, duh. But I will say this. This is not something where you've got to bring in the right people to do it. We brought in Merrifield Garden Center. We bring Tommy Vane from Merrifield Garden Center. And I am telling you, his selection of what he's going to do is really what does it.
Yeah.
Don't put up a bunch of cheap trees that you go and get at Home Depot. That is not going to do it.
That's what I was going to say. Though. Also, Merrifield, the quality of the trees, the quality of the bushes that you get from there as compared to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's or somewhere else, you can't match it.
You can see where they put up 5 or 6 little goofy ass, ugly, stickly trees. I'm like, that is not doing it, man. Bring in a professional.
And they'll give you a few options, right? We'll put 3 year, green year. These leaves fall off in the winter, but then in the spring, so they really give you a few options to choose from and what will work best.
So that's as far as the deal killers are concerned. No matter what it is, we've got to go in and identify the deal killer and get rid of it. And here's a quick determination whether it's a deal killer or not. When you walk in the house, you either go, oh, or you go, ooh. If you're going, ooh, that's the deal killer.
And
As soon as you see it, oh.
And with that, so that goes back to number one. You have to have a professional realtor who has been down this road before and been in these experiences where they can give you real life situations of, we just went through this with a house. They lost $100,000 by not doing this, because it does take a lot to have to tell a seller something is wrong with your home and needs to be fixed. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that that's going to be a big issue, but we've got to get out in front of it, because at the end of the day, we want to sell your house for top dollar, and we don't want it to, bite you in the ass at the end of the day.
Here's the difference between yesterday's market and tomorrow's market, okay? You could get away with some of that yesterday. When there's only one house on the market and 7 buyers want it, you can get away with some bad things like that. You can't do that anymore.
Oh, it's a different.
It's all changing. And normally we didn't have to do those floors or paint some of the main level. But dang it, now we've got really trying to get a buyer and can't get anyone to take the house because the floors haven't been done and the walls haven't been painted. So it's like, okay, the market really flipped. Take the house off, temp off, do the floors, do the paint, bring it back
You
out.
just need to put your best foot forward all the time. You get one shot
Yeah.
for your first impression. Like, make it count.
This is your biggest transaction.
This is, yeah,
This is it.
your savings. This is everything. Like, just,
There's too much money out.
Hey, $100,000, like that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of
What
money.
at risk, and
and this is a lot of people's biggest investments ever, you
And-
know? So why not fix it up? And
Well,
People
because
look at
every family, let me tell you something. Every family has somebody that's trying to really cut corners, and everyone wants to do it, and one person wants to do it right. You've got to appeal to the person who wants to do it the right way. You just have to. I mean, and if we don't, it's our fault. It's my fault that we didn't convey to them the importance and the criticalness, the loss of money you're going to lose if you don't follow this critical commandment.
The fact that you guys knew that if we put green giants on this property, it's going to make our lot look smaller. Lot size is so important when selling a home, especially in my area. There's a huge difference in pricing between a quarter acre and
Lots of big lots.
small
Yeah.
lots and big lots.
We have to price them different.
Well, the fact that you guys went to the neighbor, I mean, not many people would have thought of that. You know, hey, let's go talk to the neighbor. Let's be creative here. And like you said, the experience that you guys have doing that's invaluable. Yeah. You can't have an agent who's never been through this process before. That's why you got to look at the signs.
Yeah.
Sold in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right? There's huge agents. I mean, there's some really, really big agents, but they're based out of Arlington or even Maryland, and they're selling houses in my neighborhood. They have no clue what the HOA includes.
Right.
What the value of the community brings.
Right.
It's good to have your local expert.
It is good to have, there's regional and then there's local, right? And if you can get one that's both, you're in really good shape, okay? But to have a regional person that hasn't done anything in your neighborhood is kind of difficult. But I will say this, the benefits to a regional agent is they may have resources like we have where we can afford Google ads, we can afford geofencing. We afford to have a full-time person that does nothing but social media marketing on our homes. So it's good to have big agents, but they gotta know what they're doing in your area.
Well, you're not going to meet the big agent. You know, that's why having a medium-sized team or a smaller team
Yeah.
like ourselves is more important because you're going to get us.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to get someone who was hired 2 months ago, and this big agent, you're never going to.
they have 100 people hired.
yeah.
I don't want to knock on that, but you know,
I would say
might be the 13th coming.
there's going to be a 13th amendment. I think we have to skip that right to 14. But eliminating the deal killers, number 3, that falls right in line with preparing for today's buyers, number 2, and it starts with having a professional realtor. So we're going backwards now, everyone. The 4th one that we really need to do, we started this in June of 2022 when everybody started asking for home inspection. We jumped out in front of that and we started doing our own home inspections. And we have had so much success with that anybody that balks at getting a home inspection is in for a nightmare. Because if the buyer does a home inspection, they're looking at it from the eyes of a buyer's home inspector, not the eyes of a seller's home inspector, who sees something and says, this is in good working condition. A buyer's home inspector will say, that's old, that's going to break, you're going to need a new furnace or a new roof or a new something, when in fact, it's perfectly good shape. So I will tell you that we do not break. That's not negotiable anymore. You don't break number 4, and that is do a pre-listing inspection.
And that's even, now that it's shifting into a little bit more of a buyer's market, we might see, having to accept something with a contingency. However, if someone had a home inspection contingency and we hadn't done our own pre-inspection, I would be on pins and needles, like waiting, what are they going to find? So already having it inspected, knowing what we can expect, giving that to their inspectors so they already know, like, hey, you can't pull any of this shit. Like, we already checked this out. It's in, watch yourself.
Well, having that home inspection in hand brings more offers.
For sure.
Right? They're on the.
It does.
Hey, my client's on the fence. We'll waive appraisal, we'll waive financing, but they really want to do a home inspection. Well, Here it is. Plus, here's the invoices of the things we already fixed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, really? Oh, let me show you that. What happens? They come in, no contingencies, no kickouts, none of that stuff. You know, that kills deals.
Yeah.
So that's another reason.
Exactly.
So
Huge. We want to know about it. We absolutely want to know about it before the buyers
So,
do. Yeah.
like, we fix. If it's broke, fix it.
yeah, it's going to be fixed, and that's why agents like mine are like our house. They know they've been inspected, they know the price right, they know that they've been set up inside for today's buyers. But just can't emphasize enough. When you think home inspection, you think $20,000 to $40,000, and we don't want a home inspection. Let's find it ourselves. Let's fix it.
And
let's
it's a
get-
peace of mind for the sellers too.
Yeah.
No, because like sometimes, yes, we get the pre-inspection and then someone asks for a home inspection and they're the only dog in that fight? Yes. But at least we know that we're not going to get any surprises.
Yeah.
And there's nothing major. And that if there is some little things, okay, we can fix it or give them some money, but it's...
We don't want any surprises. Our name is on the sign. When my name's on the sign, the house is fit for sale. It's so funny. We went to McLean one time, and these people wanted me to list a big house. I don't know which one of you was with me. It was on a terrible roads. It was awful. It was terribly built. It was the worst built house I've ever seen. And I went through and I was looking at it, and I thought, there's no way in God's world my son's going to sell.
Oh, wait. Is that the one that we went to one time and they weren't
They
there?
built-
They told us to go through
Right,
first.
right.
We're looking at things and we were like, what the? And we just, and we literally, he was like, send us over your thought. We were like,
Send us over listing agreement. It's like my sign's not going to be in front of that house.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to walk in this house with my name on the front. And for that matter, they've got to trust that if my name's in the front yard, it's priced right. Everything's been done on. It's been inspected. It's ready to go. I can validate my price. So, anyways, the inspections are important. Eliminate the deal killers. Prepare the house for today's buyers and pick a great realtor. All right, number 5. My number one pet peeve. I get so upset with people that look on the computer or realtors. I know, honey. I'm trying.
Just take a deep breath.
They go on to a pricing engine and it tells them what their house is worth. And they come in with a 26-page report. Realtors, if you don't have a realtor that knows how to price a house and explain every aspect of how you get to that price and come at it from 3 or 4 different directions, you have the wrong realtor. They are not a number one, okay? So if you don't have a professionally priced house where you know I'm in a range, okay, I'm not sure where the buyer pool is, but it's between these two numbers. We're really close. It's not like this. It's right here. So you come in and you price it where you can. Now, we're going to test it. We're going to do another commandment, which is do predictive analysis. We're going to test it. But you can't be off by too much. Let's take round numbers. Let's say it's 1.6 million. Well, you think it's between 1.55 and 1.6, but there's a massive buyer pool of $1.5 million. If you start at 1.6 and you come back to 1.55 and 1.55 is not your number, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to be more cautious now when you're doing your pricing. Don't start 1.6, start 1.5 because you can, or 1.55. Then know that the big number at 1.5 is a huge buyer pool, and that will do it. So you start at 1.55, not 1.6. So the bottom line is that if 40% of the houses are not selling, and only follow this number now, only 8% of the homes are going under contract in the first week. Now, following these 12 commandments, we're all going under. Everyone's going under in the first week, but only 8% of the homes is going under contract in the first week. And most of it is pricing. So if you're not pricing the house correctly, if you're looking at some algorithm from Zillow or some other place or Compass or some just horrible pricing engines, you got a serious problem.
Because even if your house is prepared correctly and you're the belle of the ball, but if you're asking for a bigger number where that's not where your buyer pool is, then it doesn't.
You missed it. If you missed the price, you missed. Then all the commandments fall apart. Again, not one of the commandments I've said so far, or one of the commandments I'll say in the future, can be overlooked. They all must be taken care of, right? But
Well, a lot of times, some of those systems, well, first of all, those systems, whether it's ChatGPT or Zillow or Redfin Zestimates or whatever it is, they can't see the upgraded kitchen that you did. They can't see that the gorgeous outdoor space that you put in the backyard. They can't see the things that a realtor can see. That's one thing. And then the other thing is that they take a radius. Well, I'm sure in Vienna too, but they can't determine that, I don't know, Route 66 in your backyard is going to hurt.
Yeah.
They just see
What are you going to take
the radius
Yeah.
of what, and that's kind of how they calculate these algorithms. Well, guess what we're looking at? We're looking at how close the backyard is to the main road, or whether your home is in Willowsford or whether it's in whatever estates,
Right.
It's totally different in totally different neighborhoods. We've actually started looking at that especially in my areas. Now we don't look at the radius. We look at, okay, let's look at just this neighborhood, and let's look at the past 3-4 years, right? And that's the other thing that kills it too. When sellers come in, they're saying, well, my neighbor sold for X and X price, but they sold back in 2023.
yeah.
What market were they?
It was a totally different market than it is in 2025. Interest rates were at, 3%.
Yeah.
We're at 7% right now. The affordability is a lot less. I don't care what they sold for. We need to look at what an appraiser is going to look for, and that's the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Maybe even the last 3 months.
Yeah. Well, that's what's currently happening. A market is worth what the market says it's worth. So you have to do what's called mark to market. What does the market say it's worth? This is what the market says it's worth. You can't do what I want or what it was worth 8 months ago, because prices have fallen 9% since June. So you've got to do mark to the market, know what it is. That is age, size, schools, lot, traffic, upgrades, condition, all these things go into the price. So you really can't, that computer doesn't know any of that stuff. They know age and size, and they know radius. But, one house is crummy and another house is nice. So what we do is come up with a customary number. And then it's up to the professional realtor, not me, you in Willowsford, to say, yeah, but this neighborhood, but that neighborhood. So what happened was we priced a house for Ferris, and I come up with, let's call it 1.6. And they're like, this neighborhood, man, they're really good. They're really big. So I said, okay, here's what I'll do. I'm going to go back to just that neighborhood and get all the sales the last 4 years. And I'm going to figure out what we're worth against that house and then bring up the price, the appreciation we've had since then. And I went and found that it's really worth 185 when compared just to the market, 165 to the rest of Aldi, but 185 for just that neighborhood. I don't know which one it was, but we did it 2-3 months ago and found that house that neighborhood really did command, for whatever reason. That neighborhood commands top dollar.
Well, that was for that neighborhood, but I had one that was right outside of Willowsford.
Right.
And my seller's like, Ferris, the price tag we have on it, homes around our area are selling for $100,000 more. Well, yeah, they are, but they're not in your neighborhood.
Right.
And they're upset with me because I'm like, no, this is the price. This is where it's at. Well, guess what? They were the number 3 highest price home sold ever in their neighborhood.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And when I told him that, I'm like, this is your neighborhood. Let's just look at just your neighborhood.
Right.
There was one that I sold for 1.75, right? That was a huge Stanley Martin Traverse model. It's gorgeous, gorgeous home with 4 levels of the echelon. 1.75. That broke the record for that neighborhood. Then there was another one that sold back in 2020 for like 1.38 or something like that. And then we sold for 1.35. And it was number 3, actually number 2 in the last 2 years or so. But they were looking at everything else in the area, but they didn't understand, like, just your neighborhood, there's a difference.
And you could take a home that sold in 2020 and tell you what your home would be worth based on that sale in 2020 by applying the area appreciation rate to that house. Say, if we sold for 1.3 then, we would now sell with 158. And so we could put the number on if we stay in the neighborhood. So in some cases, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
And it's very sophisticated pricing models and appreciation models, but that can be done, and it has to be done.
Yeah.
It's not can, it has to. I can't be wrong. We can't be wrong. I mean, by you applying your knowledge of the area, by you girls applying upgrades and lot and all the rest of that stuff, then we come up with our range, and then we're ready to go. So the home's prepared. We come up with our range, very sophisticated formulas for coming up with our range, and then we go ahead and expose it. Number 6, commandment number 6, you need to expose the home. Now, once you've got the professional realtor, you've prepared the home, we've eliminated all deal killers, we've done our pre-listing inspection, we've priced it correctly. Now it's time to launch that in coming soon and get the maximum exposure you possibly can. Now, Morgan and I had a $3 million house, and we said the buyer is not coming from Vienna. The buyer is coming from somewhere else. So Julie gets on it. We're marketing to everywhere else like we do on every listing. And sure enough, one buyer is coming from Great Falls. One buyer is coming from Middleburg. So we're pulling them from the areas that would look at a $3 million house and go, you can't buy an apartment for $3 million where I'm at.
Yeah.
So they come in, they appreciate it more, they have more money, they're willing to spend more, they appreciate the quality that you can see. So the key to selling the real estate, number 6 commandment, is you have to expose the house to as many people as you possibly can. Not the people that are looking for it, but the people that aren't even looking in Vienna, that are looking in Great Falls or McLean or Arlington or DC or Middleburg or somewhere else like that, and pull them into your market, whatever market we're at.
Right.
Pull them in, and that's the correct way. So, I'm puzzled when I hear of realtors that are going to do exclusive listings where a home is going to be exclusively done to their agents and not even allowed to go on Zillow. I mean,
I can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I can't understand why you would not want as many. You've worked so hard to get the house prepared and ready. Why are you only going to show it to 1,000 people, 3,000 people? I mean, we have people coming.
I don't even mean the hundreds of people. I mean, you're talking to just the agents
and
just the clients, those agents, or the specific clients are looking for what. I don't get it.
I don't get it. It's all this time Zillow having it out for each other. You know what I mean?
But you're not doing your seller any services or any favors by saying, hey, we're only going to list it to our 1,000 agents. And what about the people coming from New York for business, or the people coming from California, or from all over the country, or Great Falls, Arlington? I mean, I can't understand.
Neither person that came in and was going to pay $3 million for a big house was coming from Compass. So if it only going to my Compass agents, we don't have anything. Exposing to everybody, we have our...
Okay, so you know why they're doing that.
Yeah, I know. Right.
All right, so they want to keep it in-house. They want to not only represent the seller, now they want to represent the buyer as well. They want to do what's called a dual agency.
So I'm greedy.
Yeah. So they make more money. They get both sides of the commission, right? Okay. They look really good, right? But how can you really represent one side when you're representing the other side, right? Now I'm not saying, because we have our buyers that do buy our properties, but we open it up to everybody, and even our buyers know this is where, like, look, we need your highest and best. I'm sorry, I can't disclose what the other price is. We need your highest and best, no escalations.
Yeah.
The sellers always get the best.
I'll tell you yes or no. The sellers always get the best.
Well, with this, US Compass, what they're going back, I guess, Zillow offered them, okay, they're going back and forth. It's a little bit.
It's a lawsuit.
It's a lot going on. But I guess Zillow came back and said, okay, if you do this, then all leads will go to your agents. They said no, being like, it's not about money. It's about, like, principle. But even no matter what it's about, it's still going to hurt the seller in the long run, whether it's about the principal, whether it's about the money, whether it's about wanting to double side it. Like it's still going to hurt the seller.
It's real simple. Are we going to do what's in the best interest of the seller or what's in the best interest of the agent and the company?
Exactly. Yeah.
And the answer is that's in the best interest of the company and the agents. The best interest of the seller is to get as many people seeing it as humanly possible. And that's our job, right?
Yep.
And when we expose it to that many people, then and only then do we know, am I at the right price?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Now, we've got 6,500 agents. Can you imagine if we got a house
And that's a lot of agents.
and we tested just those agents, we wouldn't get any feedback. No feedback.
Even knowing that Samson property owns, what, 11, 12, 13% of the
14%.
14% of the market share.
14%.
We still are like, man, we're missing out on 86%.
Yeah.
That's a
We
big
don't
number.
want to miss the 86%.
Well, Ferris, the big one was Kelly had a house that was listing. Morgan had the buyer. And Morgan is saying, can I get in? Can I look at it? Can you take my contract? And Kelly are like, we'll see you on Monday, honey.
Yeah.
And not only that, but we had had on a number. We didn't get a lot of feedback.
No.
So I dropped the number 50 grand before we launched the listing. And Morgan went nuts because she has a buyer and she knows I'm trying to get more people in to look at the house.
Yeah, this has happened a few times.
But what we tell our seller, our job is to prepare the house and get as many people through that door as possible. That's our goal, because the more people that come through, the chances are the bidding's going to go up, no contingencies, and
I just think I'm the worst father of all time. I am such a bad dad.
But no, but
But-
the seller, no, actually, but I understand it because
But
could
you're-
you imagine if my buyers, for some reason, I mean, yeah, we all have buyers and stuff, but we don't have 100% control over things all the time. Something could happen where they had to pull out. Could you imagine if you went out for a limb and like made this happen early and then you didn't get backup contracts and then for some reason my buyers wanted, we're all screwed because then, you know, it makes all of us look bad because we were trying to help each other and then at the end of the day, it wasn't about what's in the best interest of the seller, and at the end, it's business and too because they got the house.
we work for our clients.
100%.
You know, they sign an agreement to work with us, and we do whatever is in their best interest. And in their best interest, it is preparing the house and getting as many people through that door as possible.
Yeah.
Well, this is the predictive analysis side of it then, that the number 7. Number 7 is the predictive analysis, which why people won't do this, I have no idea. I mean, if our,
Well, there's hell.
Yeah.
So-
if our team
Do it.
if our team sells more homes over 1.5 million in Vienna than all the Compass agents combined, all the Keller Williams combined, all Long and Foster combined, I would listen to what we're saying.
See, you get so mad when people don't listen to like how you do things. I'm like, will you shut up? Like he's like, why won't people do what we do, damn it? I'm like, why don't we not tell them?
Yeah, right.
everything that
Tell
we
them.
do? It's why don't you just let it roll? Like they're like,
Well, I'm trying to help. I don't know.
you're just trying to help. And I'm like, but at the same time,
So the bottom line is, if you do a predictive analysis, which means you maximum exposure, everything's professionally done, you expose to as many people as you can, you're going to then know, is anyone coming to see this house?
Casey, I'm sorry. I'm the novice seller. What is a predictive analysis?
Okay, predictive analysis means I'm going to test the home in the market for 7 days. I'm going to give it full exposure, full pictures, full everything for 7
now every agent listening, write this down and you do it, damn it.
So,
Or not.
so
I'm like,
when you give it the exposure, we have certain criteria that we need to meet in order to leave it at that price. I have been at this for a long time. I truly dedicate my life to pricing houses. But I could not launch a house in good faith unless I did this predictive analysis to tell me, is there a market for this house at this time? You know? And unless I can get 6 buyers or 7 buyers or 8 buyers to come in, and this is what's frustrating. An agent called me up or asked me for some help. I said, did you do a predictive analysis on this? She said, yeah.
the shoots up.
And I looked at it. I said, well, how many showings did you have coming in? I didn't have any showings. Well, that is the predictive analysis. If there are no showings, then you drop the price to where it should be, right? It doesn't make any sense to me, right? And I looked at it and said, well, there's 60 homes on the market right now that are active, and 2 are under contract.
This leads us back to number one again. Have a professional realtor with a track record. Because no matter how many times we say things, some people still won't get it.
If you don't have people coming in to see the house on day one,
you're done.
you're done.
You're done.
You need, like you said, 6, 7 showings on that first day, because those are the most motivated.
They're the ready, willing, and able. Those are the people that have been watching and waiting.
And I had a client who was like, well, there's so many views on such and such website or whatever.
Zillow.
And I'm like, well, no, we're going right from the MLS and we're looking at the favorites or the trash, because we can see who trashed it as well. And we see how many favorites have been in that box.
Yeah.
Those are ready and willing buyers. Their agents have sent them that property. They're telling their agent, I like this home. I want to go see it. Now we're getting the showing request via showing time. We're good. We got the price. If we don't, we go into a different buyer pool.
Right.
And then why the big drop? People are like, oh, $50,000 is a big drop. Well, $50,000 is a big drop, but really, it's what the lender approves that person for. A lender's going to approve you at 1.6 or 1.55 or 1.5. Like, those are the increments of what a lender is going to give you. We're not trying to go $10,000 less. That's what we set.
If $10,000 less, we might as well not drop it because they're still in that same bracket.
So it's super important. It's the best way to guarantee your pricing, in my opinion.
We're fishing for buyers. And if I'm in the wrong buyer pool, I need to know it. And then I need to reset the hook. Now, that's what I'm talking about when you go back to pricing, why it's so important to not be off by too much.
Yeah.
Because if I drop it 50 grand and I'm still not in the buyer pool, think of it as you sitting on a fishing pier and you're fishing for fish, but your line is this far out of the water. You're not going to catch any fish. You're not in the water. What I'm to say, well, I'll drop it a couple of feet. Well, you're still not in the water. So I've got to get close enough to the water that when I drop it, the fish jump on it, So that's why the pricing is so important. You guys are great, and tip my hat. You guys are the best people I've ever seen in fixing up houses and getting it done.
Tip your hat.
I can't tip my hat because I don't have a hat.
I know, you refuse to wear it.
I know. I'm bucking the trend. But I'm just saying, you guys are great at fixing it up. I mean, our job is to make sure that thing is in the water where the fish are and everybody jumps on it. You guys make the bait. I make sure we have the level where the buyer pool is. And that's a successful group. Now, I got to tell you, if they follow the commandments, I would say that we're never fooled. 100% go under contract in the first week.
Yeah.
In the market, there's only 8% go under contract in the first week. And if it doesn't go under contract, I could show you 2 or 3 of these commandments that they broke. And again, I'm not blaming sellers. I'm blaming myself. We have to be very rigid. We just can't.
And then
you can't make mistakes.
There might be an anomaly. I'll get them in every now and then. Right? There might be an anomaly every now and then, but that's something that, again, it takes experience and knowledge to know what we're working with. Like what beast are we working with? Like who are we going up against? Like, is this something that might require a little more patience, or is this something where if you don't follow any of these protocols, you're done for?
Well, and here it goes back to number 1. Do we need more patience? And remember this. The answer is yes, you need patience.
You get it.
But everybody needs to stay calm.
Now, see, you're skipping to number 11 now. Just chill. All right? Stop. We're done with the commandments. All of a sudden, we're cutting off. He's like, 9 open houses, 10 open 11, stay calm.
9 open houses, 10 occurs.
Well, says Marshall, goodbye.
All right, that's a wrap for me.
See it?
All right.
For the next one commandment, because Casey did them all. Yeah, we'll do them all next time.
Now we'll follow up on the other commandments, but I'm going to end up by saying, in a market that's a seller's market, you may be able to break a commandment or 2 and still get out of it alive. In a buyer's market, you cannot break any commandments. You must follow it by the rule. And it's not complicated. like you had. All you had was a seller give you the keys and say, I'm going to Key West. I'll see you, sell the house, do what you got to do.
It's a well-oiled machine at this point. We know what we're doing, so we've done enough transactions.
It goes boom, 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 boom. And sellers, we've eliminated the fact that they have to come out of pocket to even pay for things. We have contractors that'll do it, get paid to sell.
That's actually a good point. Going back to number one, have the professional builder. This could either be the easiest thing you ever do or the hardest. So you work with someone who's going to make it easy and seamless. They've done it a million times. They've got it down. They have enough experience to know what goes wrong, what to do. Like we have it. It just runs smoothly. And if you have someone who hasn't gone through all these, they don't know what to do.
We have a blueprint for listings.
Exactly. There you go.
And preparing the house.
Yep.
What happens when you break a commandment, Case? What happens? What happened? What happened?
Hello.
Yeah. How's that? Hello. Conversation.
You lose. All right? Finally, friends, man,
like
lose. I don't like losing. Actually, that's the key. I hate to lose. So I know if we follow the commandments, we win, and we win big. And I love to go to settlement when we win. I do not like going to settlement when we lose, and I do not like taking blame for it, but I have to take blame for it. I need to work better. We all need to be better in 2026 in making sure that none of the commandments are broken, period.
And me and Kelly are so, yes, Father. Please don't make us run more sprints.
It's funny. They think I'm the tough guy. I'm not the tough guy. These two are the tough guys. Like, I can go, yes, yeah, it's fine. These guys, no. We're paying this 6,000 square foot house. So you guys are really the tough guys, and sometimes I'm the softie. So, all right.
We'll see you guys next time.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, girl.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for being here, Ferris.
Thanks for stepping in, bud.
Of course. Colby, feel better.
Yeah. He's just sitting there like, ha, ha, ha. I'm like, you're out. Ferris, we need you. Man down.
Thanks for having me, guys. That's cool.